Hey gang, hope you're all sheltered in place and safe. Today we're going to be drawing from one of my favorite drawing books, Fantasy Cartooning by Ben Caldwell. Today we will be drawing an Amazon warrior princess. Whew! One of them tough Wonder Woman kind of heroes. All right, let's do it. So like the lessons we've done in the past, we're going to start out just lightly sketching it in, sticks and balls. Then we'll go in a little darker with the outline, and we'll finish up by going in with a nice dark pencil and adding all of the detail. Now you can use a regular pencil and just sketch lightly. I'm using 3 different pencils. One that's got a very hard lead to start with, so it makes very light lines. For the second stage, I'll use a 4B pencil. For the final stage, I'll use a 6B pencil. So I'm actually using pencils that get darker. All you need to do is use a regular 2B pencil, just the regular pencil you use at school, and you can press harder to make it darker or go back over the lines. Don't think you have to have any kind of special equipment in order to draw this. Now remember, at this point, we're just blasting the stuff down. Don't agonize over these first few lines that you draw. You want to get the proportions right. You want to get them in about the right place. Remember, we're using rat lines. Just get it right about there. Do this quickly and have fun with it. Sketch kind of loosely. We'll go back and we'll fix anything that isn't exactly in the right place. Like her arm here, for example. I'm just going to move it, and I'm going to erase my first try so that I get it closer to where I think it ought to be. And that's all we're trying to do here, is rough it in. All right, we have the skeleton drawn in effect. Now I'm going to go in and do step 2, where I add some meat to the bones and flesh out the drawing a little bit. I'm using a white latex stick eraser here. Just makes it easier to erase cleanly, and I don't rip the paper as often. You can use any old eraser though. Now, our Amazon warrior is a lithe, athletic woman, so we want to get a nice flow to the drawing. You see how the line curves as it goes all the way down from her shoulders down to her foot. And having that nice bend gives it a athletic sort of feel. As I'm adding the outlines, you'll notice I'm going in and with the eraser and cleaning up some of those initial lines that we did, especially the lines that are right down the middle, so we can start to see the actual final drawing starting to take shape here. Now remember the lesson from last week, that eyes line up with the top of the ear, the nose is going to line up with the bottom of the ear. All right, we've roughed in stage 2, so now we're ready to go in with a nice dark pencil and add the details. Now, you may be familiar with the Amazon warriors from movies like Wonder Woman. All of the Greek myths mention Amazons at one time or another. The famous heroes all had to fight an Amazon queen at some point to prove how tough they were. But there has been some recent discoveries that people actually believe there were Amazon warriors. They were either Scythians or Sarmatians from ancient Asia Minor. And they have located tombs where warrior queens were buried with gold crowns and their various battle gear alongside them. So all you boys out there thinking that you got to be a guy to be tough, you have to give it up for the Amazon warriors. I'm going to start the skirt here. Now, the thing you have to remember about cloth is that it always falls down in triangle shapes. So if you bend it around and have two sections of the cloth coming down from one central point, like I'm about to do here, as long as it's in that triangle shape, you know that you're going to have something that looks reasonably like a folded bit of cloth. The sword that our Amazon is using is probably not historically accurate because this is a Roman short sword, or a gladius, as it's called. The swords that were used by the ancient peoples of Asia Minor were typically long swords. But this short sword was the type of sword that a Roman soldier would use, and in particular, a Roman gladiator. So gladius is the word for sword. Gladiator is someone who uses a sword. And the modern plant, the gladiolus, is a flower that has sword-shaped leaves. Now, Ben Caldwell doesn't use a lot of shading in his drawing, but there's no reason that we can't add shading ourselves. You can go in and add it any place you like it. You can throw in some pencil and then smudge it around with your finger to make it a nice smooth gradient shaded area. Like so. If you get graphite all over your fingers though, remember to wash your hands. You should be doing that lots anyway, but wash your hands before you touch anything. If you start getting fingerprints all over the place, your mom's going to get upset and tell you you can't watch Mr. Dawson's videos. And of course you want to watch Mr. Dawson's videos because what else do you have to do? All right, I'm just going to add some final touches here. Little dab here, little dab there. Now my drawing doesn't look exactly like the illustration from the book, and I'd imagine yours doesn't look exactly like the illustration either, but when I look at it, it definitely looks like an Amazon warrior. I'm pretty happy. See you next week.